Hello and welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to do our second episode into Gregory Jackson, aka Gregory James Daniel, Gregory Daniel Avero, James Jackson, Onision, Gregory. We're gonna go Greg and Greggy Poo because it annoys him and things that annoy him make me happy. So the second episode is going to be about his relationship with his first wife, Sky. I am using, for the most part, the abuse timeline with the evidence here. I don't know if you can see that, but it's the abuse timeline document that you can find on Twitter. I'll link it down below if I can remember. I really should remember to link things down below. Also, I'm going to link Shiloh's music channel, Shiloh's regular channel, Billy's regular channel, and Ayala's. I wish Ayala would come back and make more videos. I really like her. So her music is cute and she's adorable. And come back, Ayala, come back. Okay, so this episode is the Schuyler years, which are from 2003 to 2010. And we are going to go through and read some of the documented abuse and discuss it. Okay, so in 2003, Greg meets Sky in high school. They begin dating. Alicia, the younger sister of Greg's first wife, states that when she is 15 and Greg was 18, he had too much to drink at a function, and Greg made a move and tried to kiss her. She was horrified and ran back to her friend. And there is a tweet that goes with that. It says, "When I was 15, I got intoxicated during my rebel teens. He sat next to me. After my friend left, he tried to kiss me. I turned away, horrified, and ran across the room back toward my friend." Greg has a history of being obsessed with Sky's little sister and to kind of frapping to her pictures that he has of her. I don't know how he got her tasteful nudes, but he did, and he would frap to them, which is really, really gross. Greg, you were sleeping with her sister. That's all kinds of wrong. Okay. So in 2005, about to exit high school with a 2.5, Greg signs up for the Air Force and plans. This is a plan before YouTube enters the picture. And then he's in the military, blah, 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 blah. In 2005, Greg marries Sky. During their 5-year marriage, he demands she keep her hair short and claims that if she doesn't wear shorts under her skirts, she could get raped. Sky also claims he would spend 3 hours masturbating to tentacle rape, and I don't know how to pronounce that, so we're just going to go with anime porn most mornings so he could focus for the rest of the day. And I'm going to read her tweets now, which are, "I wonder, do you still frap to Hanata Hiniti of underage schoolgirls being assaulted by tentacles every morning for 3 hours so you can concentrate on the rest of your day? He said I looked like a whore for wearing skirts and dresses in public and kept insisting I should cut my hair because it looked Amish. What the fuck does that mean? He also said I would be too vulnerable if I didn't wear shorts underneath and I would be a target for rape." This is a pattern you will see Greg do throughout his entire relationships with all of his girls, with all of his girlfriends, wives, everything, where he has a tendency, you'll see their hair getting shorter and shorter. The longer they are in these relationships, you will see them progress in the way that their clothing will progress to a more boyish style, and as Greg asserts his control throughout. I also want to talk about the whole, Greg has this weird obsession with rape. He even has like these rules not to get raped, and there are 2 of them that are just absolutely horrifically horrible. One is, if you act mentally ill and possessed, someone won't want to rape you. No, you dumb. People who are mentally ill, who are intellectually challenged, things like that, are actually more likely to be raped. So you're completely marginalizing an entire group of people. Then you have Greg sitting there being like, this is the worst one. This is literally gonna get someone killed if they follow it. If you're being raped, defecate on yourself or start to defecate, vomit, and wee on yourself and smear your poo all over your attacker's face. If you're being violently attacked and you attempt to do that, your rapist is going to beat the living shiznit out of you. So no, don't do that. Don't follow Greg's advice on anything, but definitely don't follow his advice there. That is absolutely a horrifically horrible idea, and Greg shouldn't be giving advice to anyone. So on January 1st, Greg creates his Onision YouTube channel. Sky is the primary breadwinner, with Greg's military career supplementing their income until Greg worked again to discharge under honorable conditions in 2008 by refusing to shoot a rabbit, claiming a conscientious objector status. Greg forbade her from doing any job outside of YouTube. She was often the one who wrote the jokes and sketches. They gradually gained popularity through music videos and comedy skits. So Greg is already starting to isolate Sky and keep her from, like, if she doesn't have a job, she can't have friends, and she doesn't get out, and she can't really get away from Greg, and she's completely and totally dependent upon him, which is something that most abusers really, 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 really enjoy doing. All right, I'm going to go ahead and read this, where it shows where he's isolating her. This blog post right here shows him isolating her, or attempting to isolate her from her friends, and later on, I'm sure her family. That's never directly stated, but I'm sure it's in there. Okay, ready? So this is January 4th, 2007. All right, so it has been a few days since Sky and I hung out with another couple. Judging from the fact that these were the only ones we knew that had a lifestyle that wasn't drugged out, beard out, also known as drugged out, smoked out, ethically lacking, rude, and we can't even enjoy ourselves around them as much as we do each other. I just really don't see myself and Sky spending time with anyone in the future who isn't anyone other than family. It seems that everyone who isn't blood related to us has something extremely wrong with them. It may not be apparent at first, like a used car. When you get on the road with them and you get to know them, the clanks and the pings and begin to show. Maybe not after that, and then that's the end of that screenshot. But this is Greg's attempt to once again isolate and keep Sky from being able to make friends of her own outside of Gregory, have a life outside of Gregory, because Gregory needs to be the center of attention. And there's a whole nother blog post in here, just a little bit that we're going to discuss, that gets so much worse. Okay, so 1/27/2000, Sky's close friends try to intervene. Greg asserts that they are actually the abusive ones for not respecting Sky's love for him. That's gaslighting. Greg is gaslighting her. Greg is trying to convince her that it's everybody else's problem. Everyone is against us. Stay away from them. Follow me. Do what I want to do, because I am Greg. I am Onision. No, dude. No. She should have had friends. She totally should have been able to have friends. This is one of the key aspects of trying to abuse someone and control them, by isolating them from everybody else in the world. They can't get away. They have no friends. They have no job. They have no aspect of getting away. They are completely dependent on you. So no matter what you do, they have to stay with you. Okay. In 2008, the YouTube channel begins to pick up, and the channel gains popularity. Greg actively prevents Sky from getting a full-time job so she can stay at home and work full-time on their YouTube channel all day, claiming that having a job would mean that she wouldn't see him as much. Now, I'm going to skip that. I'm going to go right down to this really bad blog post, and we're going to have... Okay, we're just going to read it, and then we're just going to get it out of the way. Another issue has come up with Sky's obtaining a job. I have recently deeply considered the possibility of her obtaining a job again, and it seems so inappropriate. It seems inappropriate for your wife to have a job that makes her happy. And it's like, he's the decision maker. It doesn't, like, you can see in this wording that he's the one making up his mind. It's not Sky's choice on whether Sky has a job. It's his choice. It's completely and totally 100% his choice, not Sky's. And it's another step in isolating her. The reason behind this is she simply would not see me nearly as much as she does now. And that is unacceptable. Again, listen to the wording of how this is going down. This is Greg sitting there being like, this is what I want. This is what you're going to do. It doesn't matter what you want. It doesn't matter how you feel. You're going to do it my way, and you're going to deal. No, Greg, that is not how this works. Ugh, okay. If she's going to have a job, she must still be able to see me at least 80% of my time off work. Do you hear anything about Sky's wants or concerns in here? No. This is strictly about what Greg wants, Greg's concerns, Greg's needs. Screw Sky. Okay. 80% of the time currently working. Okay. Must see me 80% of my time off work. And with me currently working a night schedule, we would be lucky to see each other 50% of the time. I do not like this percentage, though it would be a part-time job. It would also be a day job. And in the result of that, would alter her sleep schedule, taking many more hours away on top of the working hours. Greg, you're a YouTuber. You can set your own work schedule. You're doing this to isolate Sky, and you're not, like, do you hear him constantly talking about me? Do you hear any concern about what Sky may want or what Sky may need, or the percentage of time she wants to spend with Greg? No, because realistically, in an abuser's mind, especially one like Greg's, it doesn't matter what Sky wants. It doesn't matter what Sky needs. It only matters that Onision Greg gets what he needs and what he wants. She is nothing more than an object to him. She is nothing more than something that he possesses. This is extremely possessive language. He thinks he possesses her. Okay. Later on this year, I'll be switching to day schedules, and then we will both advance in our productivity in the field of finances and self-improvement. No. Like, I get it. That blog post screams of freaking I control my wife. It's a separate blog post, but it's under the same thing, and it says Hollywood Sky. We're going to read it and hope the cringe factor doesn't make us want to bash our own heads in. Okay, so Hollywood Sky. I've been making quite a few YouTube videos as of late. I'm really working on the professionalism aspect of them, in the sense that though the ideas are tacky, the core video and sound quality is at least par. I would rather have crappy sound quality than your crappy, I'm a banana. No. Greg, your content is specifically aimed at young teenagers, especially young teenage girls, and it is horribly the worst content, some of the worst content I've ever seen on the internet. At least Sean Dawson's has improved. Yours is just garbage. Okay. Sky has been a mighty impressive performer. Her improvisational skills are superb from what I have seen thus far. In the last video, Ninja versus Commando, her dodging bullets, floor dance, and general dancing in response to my assaults were all her. I did not suggest these things. She decided to go for it regardless. I truly love my wife, and I feel very fortunate to have met, and even more so, flattering, married. I would not trade her for anything. I am so very excited that she would enter the world of entertainment with me, all comedy-based forms of video production. Blah. Maybe we will make a horror film next. I've always loved those. Do you see how much he possesses her and acts like he possesses her? I mean, it's freaking disgustingly ridiculous. Greg, no. Like, I cringe just reading this. I could not imagine living in that marriage and having someone think that they own you and they own the rights to you. And I mean, that's what this blog, that's what this screams. Okay, so in February of 2010, the music video I'm a Banana is submitted to the Tosh.0 as viewers find of the viewers video of the week. This results in a surge of traffic for Greg. This is when his YouTube videos really start to take off, and you see his career building, and it leads to what we have, unfortunately, today with a uber freaking sad face. Yeah. So, I went back and watched that video recently, like today, so, because I haven't seen it realistically since my husband and I started dating, and he showed it to me, which was 7 years ago-ish. And you can see Sky in it, and I know that she's supposed to be acting, but all of his wives and girlfriends just look dead inside when filming with him. I was watching a video with him with Billy the other day, and she looked dead inside. So having to film with Greg is just, ugh. Okay. So not 3 months later, enter patient 0, which is Shiloh. And Greg begins to talk to Shiloh over Skype. She's an underage fan of Onision who's just turned 17. They talk, often sometimes 6 to 10 hours a day over the course of their relationship. This is kept a secret from Sky. Sky begins to suffer severe depression as the relationship is deteriorating. So my guess is when she talks about this, suffering from severe depression, Greg is one of those kinds of people, just my guess, that as he's screwing up and she wants attention and, you know, she's his wife and she wants her husband's attention and things like that, Greg is going around being like blaming her for stuff, yelling at her, degrading her. I've seen him in several videos where he admits to name calling and using every word in the book and getting angry and calling that emotion. It is not okay to verbally abuse anyone. And that is my guess what is causing Sky's deep depression. As he gets closer to Shiloh, he is more heavily verbally abusing Sky. So just keep that in mind. He is growing closer to Shiloh, grooming Shiloh to be his next whatever, while heavily verbally abusing his current, at that time, wife. Okay, so then on 12/22/2010, Greg drafts up a divorce contract stating that he will allow Sky to live rent-free in the apartment for a year. It is later thrown out in court since it was signed under duress and not notarized. This is also another pattern you see with Onision, where he tries to make these contracts that aren't legally binding that he uses to get his way. This divorce thing is no different. He is just Alright, I want to read you this divorce thing just so you can see what we're dealing with here. I, Gregory, promise that I will take care of Sky's housing, food, water, electricity, so long as no significant abuse of these resources occurs, and Sky does not in any legal way violate anyone else in the household from December 22nd, 2010 to December 22nd, 2011. B, if Sky chooses to live outside of the house, Gregory, he will provide a $1,000 allotment unless the allotment exceeds 30% of his income, in which he will only provide 30%. This will also expire December 22nd, 2011, regardless of when living quarters change occurred. To be clear, the allotment will never exceed over 30% of Gregory's income. Line D, if December 22nd, 2011, Sky is not ready to move out of, Gregory will offer 12 months free housing, food, water, electricity, and as long as no significant abuse of these resources occur, and Sky does not in any legal way violate anyone else in the household. However, line B will no longer be available to her. Then he has like this stuff where she surrenders the house, and then if she needs to move back in, she can, but then blah, 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 blah. So he makes her sign this. The way she tells this story is that he is on the phone with Shiloh, and he's like, I got them signed, as he's handing poor Sky these self-typed up divorce papers, and that's the divorce papers that he did. Now, they are not legally binding. This is just a couple of days before Christmas. She goes home. She goes home to her parents. She breaks down. They help her get a divorce lawyer, and what she actually walks away with is so much better. She is collecting the alimony sum of $90,000. She claimed that she was 50% of the reason the 50% reason the channel Onision existed, and worked full time on it, and was going to pursue the profits in court. So Onision settled outside of court. She demanded $150,000 from him originally, but he offered what he could afford paying over a period of the next 6 years, $90K, which was $1,250 a month. Shortly after, she started her own channel and gave it up a few months later. Onision divorced his ex-wife because she was always sat around and browsed the web, and that she repeatedly gave up in the middle of videos and refused to record because of problems she had for years with her motivation. She had one of these episodes in front of Onision's mom and made no sense in any of them, and everyone just wanted to make a fun video, and she was having a meltdown for reasons no one could figure out, because Greg's a douche and he verbally and mentally abused her. That's why she's probably having a meltdown, and all of this is crap. So this is just Onision trying to state that she's bad, blah, blah, blah. This has Onision written all over it. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but you get the general idea. I think that she probably should have gone for the $150, and $1,200 a month, Greg, was not that much for what you did for her. I'm pretty sure she just wanted out of there and wanted to be able to support herself and move back out of her parents' house. Now, while this is going on, Greg makes several videos, basically trashing Sky to make her look bad. And one of the videos that he made is, Sky stole $3,000 from my house, and he shows surveillance cameras from his house where she is going, where she had his consent to go in and pick up her stuff, and she picked up things. Their marriage was 50-50. She had the right to go pick up and take everything that she owned. And some other stuff that he owned. He didn't own that much. If you look and you hear time after again, his house was messy. There was only like a couch and a TV, and the only room that was really furnished was his editing room, which was a whole different thing from when we get into Shiloh. But yeah. Okay, so the last couple of things I want to cover in this one is the he divorces her on the 22nd, and then on the 27th, Greg hits a deer with the car he and Sky share on their way to Pennsylvania to buy a plane. He buys a plane ticket instead to meet Shiloh for the very first time in a hotel room near Sandman. The first words she hears in person are, "I can't wait to get you pregnant." Back home, Shiloh's mother has alerted authorities that her daughter may be in danger, and they search her hotel room on suspicion of filming child porn, since Greg brought a camera equipment with him, and they leave. Okay, so here you see where it says that he did a video where he talks about where he got in a car accident, but he doesn't say that he's meeting Shiloh because he does not want his audience to understand that he had basically been having an emotional affair with Shiloh, an underage 17-year-old Shiloh, prior to divorcing his wife. And Shiloh says that she had no idea that she was naive and had no idea that he had romantic intentions. And I believe that. The 17-year-old girl doesn't necessarily have the capacity to understand what a 20-something-year-old male is up to in that department. I thoroughly believe that he manipulated her into that relationship, and he was trying to groom her and mold her into what he wanted her to be. But that is on the next episode. That talks about, yeah. All right. Yeah, so the next stuff gets into Shiloh, and we will do that in another video because this is hitting 22 minutes. I just wanted to cover a brief section of what was going on with Sky. Again, you're going to see these patterns of abuse get worse. You're gonna see how it goes throughout each time and how it gets worse until we get to his current spouse. And that is a whole video on its own too. All right, guys, I will see you later.